what have you seen from the guys this spring, and how is Sim's reaction to all that?
Well, I think, top to bottom, we're so much better. I mean, the time that we had in the office, not being on the road in January, really gave us an opportunity to really dig into what we're doing, and it gave the coaches an opportunity to be with the guys and get a lot more chalk talk done, and really a deeper understanding of what we're doing, and a really good deep dive into defenses too. So, I think that the overall understanding of what we're doing is vastly better than what we have been even at the end of last year. The new guys coming in have fit in really, really well. We've played well up front. And the guys that were here, I think, really understand what we're doing. We can do a lot more things now because of their understanding what we're doing. So we could be have a lot more moving pieces, a lot more motions, a lot more sets, a lot we can move in and out of the backfield much easier. And when we're able to do that, the quarterback is being able to handle that a lot better, with all of the changing pictures and the things that the defense is throwing at us. And as you guys know, in Andrew's and Jeff's defense, I mean, it's you're getting every look, every coverage. So it's really been a good spring of understanding exactly what we're doing and really digging into the football piece. So I think it's been a really, really productive spring, probably the most fun I've had in a long time with spring ball. This group of guys, we were just, talking with some of the staff guys after practice today. This is a fun group of guys to be around. They're really into football. They're really excited about the direction that we're headed. And hopefully, tomorrow night we get, just a good glimpse at, the strides that we've made here, since January.
Next question comes from Ken Segura from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution.
Hey, Dave. I want to ask about the receivers. One, kind of tell me, how do you envision using Kyrick? He obviously was used in a few different ways at Northwestern. And then second, have you seen anyone in particular really make a lot of progress this spring in that group?
So the cool thing with Kyrick is, he has very, very good linear speed. So you can use him as a motion guy and a valuable runner. But when you look at his physique, I mean, he's put together. So he's a guy that can handle the ball out on the edge. You can bubble him. You can, smoke it to him on the edge. You can bring him back into the backfield. A lot of the things that he was doing at Northwestern that made him really difficult to defend, because you could put him in a bunch of different places and he could do a lot of different things. The thing that I've been most impressed with Kyrick is his understanding of football. You could tell that he's been, very well schooled, very well coached at Northwestern, and he understands the game very well. And, probably the other thing with him is that he has just seamlessly fit into that room. He's kind of a selfless guy, hard worker, good dude to be around. He's smart. He has emotional intelligence. He understands the game. He's a veteran guy. So, he's kind of fit seamlessly into that room. And that room is a fun group of guys to be around. They push each other. There's a lot of depth there. The young guys are really progressing, pushing the older guys, for opportunities, and the same names that have been out there running around that are coming back, the Malachi Carters and the Adonicus Sanders and PJ, those guys have all had really good springs. I think the guy that has stood out really the most is Kalani Norris. He's a guy that, when he first came in, was highly recruited out of Miami, and it's just his maturity on and off the field. He's doing great in the classroom. He really understands the offense now, And so he's not guessing as much. You know, he's got really, really good speed. He's got great hands. And he's made some really acrobatic catches, you know, but the thing that kind of haunted him a little bit was that when the bullets started to fly and the pictures moved, he didn't, you know, it was like you had to stop and really remember what he's doing. And again, Kerry's done a great job with him. It's just his overall development of understanding football coverages, how to manipulate coverages and things like that have now allowed him to play at full speed. And, you know, he's a guy that's probably a low 4.5, high 4.4 kid that can really run. He has great body balance. And I'm just super, super impressed with what his development has been over the last 4 weeks.
Thanks.
Next question comes from Kelly Quinlan from Rivals.
Hey, Dave, I was curious about just how you feel like the offense has kind of progressed. We're in year 3 now. It seems like this spring you guys look probably more like you want from, you know, 1 through 3 huddles, not just maybe the first group.
Yeah. Well, I think that, you know, we've done a really good job of adding really good pieces to the puzzle. We have competition at every position. When you put even the younger guys out there, those are really good players, you know, just like Avery Boyd and Ryan King and Nate McCullum. I mean, those are really, really good dudes that are young guys that are progressing in your system, right? So, you know, ideally what you want to be able to do is have a core of older guys that really understand what you're doing, that know your culture, that are really, really good players. And then when you add your younger guys in, that they're pushing those guys for playing time and being allowed to develop and not having to, you know, play 50, 60 snaps a game. And it's basically that way at each position. So I think that we've done a really nice job of adding the pieces that we needed to add across the board. The O-line, you know, looks like a, you know, big time Power 5 offensive line right now. And, you know, and they're playing like it. You know, it's not just that they're big guys that are standing in front of the quarterback, but they're big guys who are good players who can allow us to do a bunch of different things. They're smart dudes. They work hard in the classroom. So, you know, I think the cool thing with those guys, you know, the line guys especially, is that we've developed a lot of depth, but the addition of Ryan Johnson and Devin Cochran, you know, guys that are older guys who have taken the younger guys under their wings and said, listen, guys, this is how we do it. We've been around, man. When Coach Key says that we need to do these things, this isn't just coach talk. These are things that we've lived, and I've been through these things. I've done this. I've made these mistakes as a young guy. And, you know, those guys have really gravitated, you know, towards those 2 fifth-year senior guys, and just understanding what it takes day after day after day to be a great college football player. It's not just something that you show up on the weekend and then you can just run out there and play. This is a daily routine of how you need to be able to handle your business. You know, like this is when, you know, I got to go to class. I have to do my study hall. I have to come in, and, you know, there'll be days that I'll be walking out, you know, heading home, and, you know, those guys will have the offensive line guys in there in the team meeting room watching tape. And so just the overall development of the culture and the understanding of what it takes to be elite and to play the elite teams at this level, I think is gotten to where, you know, I'm really comfortable with where we are now. You know, we have to be able to go out and execute and do those type of things. At the end of the season, and we talked about this, I think the first week of spring ball, you know, we identified the fact that we had to eliminate our unforced errors, you know, our pre-snap issues. We've done a really, really good job with that. And, you know, we have to control the ball. We have to be able to take care of the ball. And then when we get in the red zone, you know, we have to finish with touchdowns and not field goal opportunities. So those have been really the 3 points of emphasis for us over the last 4 or 5 weeks. And, you know, the guys have done a tremendous job of buying in and really understanding, like, these are the things that have limited us in the past. Let's not allow that to continue in the future. And you know, I'm really excited with the trajectory that we're on right now.
Time for a few more for Coach Patenaude. We'll start with one from Rod McKenzie from 247 Sports.
Sure, Mikey was sort of a neophyte at the center position. How is his, progression as far as knowledge and what he's supposed to be doing help the offensive line?
I mean, he's a totally different dude, Rod. I mean, I'm so proud of him because he was forced into a role as a first-year starter at center in an advanced system of how we snap the ball and trying to play as fast as you can possibly play with a freshman quarterback. Sometimes if you have an older guy at quarterback, he kind of calms everything down. You play fast, you play slow, you play fast, you play slow, you play at the tempo that you want to be able to play at. And the quarterback can control it, right? So he can push the tempo, he can pull back on it. And that allows the center a little bit of breathing room, especially when you're trying to be a tempo team. And, Mike Minahan was put in that mix, as a first-year center who never even really played center. So his maturity, his understanding of what we're doing, his comfort in his own skin right now, being a leader, being tough, setting the tempo, controlling the game. I mean, there's been, dozens of instances in the spring where something hasn't been right, and he's held the snap, redirected traffic, repointed mic IDs, slid protections. Andrew's jumping in and out of different fronts, and linebackers are up and linebackers are back. He just has a sense of calmness about him now, and a sense of confidence about him that, as a first-year starter, he played in more peaks and valleys, played really well at times, struggled at other times, had a few snap issues and, some cadence issues and things like that. And, knock wood, I mean, we've been, pretty much free of all of that stuff. So when your center is able to just calm everything down, get everybody on the right page, but still make snap decisions on how things are changing, how fronts are changing. The quarterback might come up and he might see something. He might change it to a totally different play. And now the center has to have the wherewithal to just a snap decision. Bang, this is where we're going. This is who we're going. This is where, this is what the mic point is, or this is the slide into protection. And you can't play jittery, when you're a center. You can't play on your heels. You have to be locked in. And he's done an unbelievable job. All of those guys, Austin Smith and Will Lay and Mike Minahan, have done a great job of taking the onus of saying, we have to be able to run the show. And if Jeff changes something, cool, we'll adapt and we'll change with him. But I'll run the show, and then you just kind of make the adjustments that you want. And I think he's been really, really good. We haven't had an errant snap now. Hopefully tomorrow night we don't go out there and, sling the ball around tomorrow night, but that hasn't been an issue. So, I really feel moving forward that we've addressed and kind of polished up some of those things from a cadence and snapping and pre-snap adjustments and those type of things that it takes to be able to win in this league. And, with our goal of, winning our side of the bracket, and being that team. So for us, the guy that has his hand on the ball every play is a center, and he's got to be able to run the show.
Next question comes from Ken Segura from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution.
Hey, Dave, regarding the red zone play, how does that get better? Obviously, it's getting the ball into play, but kind of how is it different than playing between, the 20s?
Well, you can't make mistakes down there, right? You can't jump off sides. You can't have a procedure. You can't hold. We had an illegal, hands to the face. So just from a execution standpoint, it's magnified once you get inside the 20-yard line, right? So once you get in there, you have to be able to play nearly perfect in your execution. So that's one thing. You have to be able to have a good mix of your runs, your play actions, your nakeds. You have to be able to identify who their weak link is and try to get that guy isolated. And then when you put the ball up, guys got to go make plays. Jeff's got to, drop the ball in there, and those guys have to go make plays. And at times it looked really good. There's, 4 or 5 times that we just get down in there, we go fast, we hand the ball off, we throw one up to Malachi, and he makes a really good play. But you have to be, very precise in what you're doing. And, when your number's called, the thing that we talk to our skill guys about all the time is, listen, when your number's called, you got to go make a play, right? So the O-line does a great job, and they protect. The back takes the blitzer. The Q throws the ball in there, right? Now it's a one-on-one ball. You got to go make a play. And I think that the guys have, really taken that as a challenge to, when your number's called, not only in the red zone, with, some of the shots that were taken, but when you get in the red zone and you have an opportunity to get the ball thrown to you, then, you have to be a playmaker. And, we have to be able to identify those guys that create matchup issues and, give the defense, some different looks down there where we can isolate a guy that we know that we like to match up with. So, red zone offense is critical, especially in this league where, really you have to get the 35 points or more. And if you do that, you're pretty much only in the top half to third of the league. So, you have to get in there and you have to, you have to make the most of your opportunities. And if you have to kick a field goal, you have to kick a field goal, but we want to come out of there with touchdowns, not field goal opportunities.
Final question for Coach Patenaude comes from Kelly Quinlan from Rivals.
Hey, Dave, I was just curious, what is the next step for Jeff Sims? Like, what do you want to see him kind of kick his game up to another level? How does that show on the field?
Well, I think the thing that you'll see with Jeff moving forward is he's just much more comfortable. And when a quarterback can slow a game down and truly understand where to go with the ball, what to do, what the defense is doing, you play at such a much more calm demeanor. There's times when the quarterback's going to have to rally people and, dig in somebody's behind or pat them on the back to be able to, to direct the game. So I think that's a big piece of it. And when you understand where to go with the ball and you understand what the defense is trying to do to you, you drastically decrease your opportunities for negative plays because you're just not throwing into tight windows. You're not throwing into bad coverage, that type of thing. And, the thing that really stood out when you went back and watched the tape last year is he's a tremendous athlete. His ability to run the ball and to get us out of trouble. He made a lot of plays where they were 4 or 5 yard gains that could have been a sack because he sidestepped the guy, made a couple guys miss and went and got 4 or 5 yards. And what we've really talked about is what's that combination of, yes, I'm going to take off and go, or am I going to progress to my second, third read and get the ball backside? I mean, just the other day, we had a 2-minute drill, great coverage. He bounced, he went to the front side. They rolled the coverage. He bounced backside. Kyrick ran an in route, very calmly went backside, drove a ball in there on a dig, and Kyrick went like 65 yards for a touchdown in the 2-minute drill. Just that calmness and, ability to process information better, I think is the thing that will stand out. And, he's certainly, it's only going to be his second year, and he was really thrown into the fire there as a freshman. But I think that's the thing that stood out the most. And then really his ability to get on the blackboard and draw things up, draw the defense, and really explain the why we talk about all the time. Tell me the why. Don't tell me the what. Everybody knows what to do, right? Tell me why you're doing it. Tell me why the defense is playing this coverage versus this formation. Tell me the why of where this route combination should affect this coverage, and then you become a much deeper understanding of what we're doing, you have a much deeper understanding of the offense. So I think, you know, across the board, the quarterbacks have done a really, really good job with that. And I think that's the thing that has impressed me the most with Jeff here over